Good afternoon, everybody. 2:30 Sunday. Here we are again. Although, like I said, it could be any day of the week. It's just, yeah. I tell what day of the week it is by what's on telly, but even that's changing now. You don't get Casualty on your Saturday night, and there's no Holby on Tuesday. So that's no good, is it? I'm hoping you're all joining me and we can have a bit of fun. Like the title on my feed said, this is going to be a couple of fairy cards. I say a couple of fairy cards. I'm going to try not to overrun like I did last week, so it might be one fairy card. Depends on how long I waffle and what we manage to get done. So it'll be lovely to see how you all are, what you've been up to this week. This week I've made some masks for when I go out, not so that I can stop other people giving it to me, but so that if I've got anything, then I can stop giving that to other people, just to be sensible. No fear involved. It's just we really need to be careful out there nowadays, don't we? Things have changed, so hey ho. I had a lovely time Friday afternoon because I was feeling a bit down, so I sent a message to one of my friends, my northern bestie Susan, who is probably watching out there. Hi Susan. And I know her mum is as well. Hi Rose. Anyway, so I sent her a message saying, just feeling a bit down. She said, do you fancy FaceTime? So we FaceTimed each other and we spent a good couple of hours on FaceTime while we both crafted. So she was in her craft room, and I was in my craft room, and we had the screens in front of us, so we were chatting away, we were crafting. I'd show her what I was doing and go, what do you think? And she'd show me what she was doing, and it was just great. So I would highly recommend that if you've got craft buddies out there, that you get together and have FaceTime. So although you can't craft in the same room, you can still craft together, and I think it's going to be a lovely way of making sure that you don't end up with cabin fever, because it can get a bit weird at the minute. A couple of people saying hi. There's Anna Marie Dorr. Hi, Anna Marie. I can tell the days by the Crafters Companion shows during the week. Yeah, no, that is quite good. That's our way of telling. You've got Monday Makers and all the rest of it, so that's really cool. My sister-in-law Debbie is there. Hi Debbie. I've got to make you a birthday card at some point because it's your birthday on Tuesday, isn't it? So yeah. I'll get something sorted out, don't you worry. Cindy from Ohio is coming on to say hi, and my sister Becca, who didn't phone me yesterday. You normally phone me on a Saturday, Beck, but never mind. Hi. Caroline, hi Rach, sorry you were down. Yes, been trying to do that with one of my crafty pals. It's a great way of, like I said, just avoiding the cabin fever that it's so easy to get at the moment. Now, before I came on today, I put a post out yesterday to say that I'd be on again today, because I like to try and remind everybody so that, it helps. And I asked for suggestions on anything that you might like me to have a go at. Now, Caroline, you asked me if I had any of the gatefold cards. I have. I will probably do them next week or the week after. And Sarah's Signature Black and Gold, I do have that collection, so I will probably try and do that one week as well. Jan, you wanted Fairy or Butterfly Garden. I don't have the Butterfly Garden, so I can't do that, but I'm going to be doing some Fairy, so hopefully that'll be nice for you. And my friend Laura, whose mum, who she doesn't get on with, passed away recently, and she asked me how about a not sorry you died card. I think I might leave that one off because I don't think that's it's a bit of a niche one. Hi Rach, how were the brownies? That's my mum. I've just had a brownie before I came live with my cup of coffee, and they're lovely. Thank you very much. Joan is saying, hi Rach, it's cold up here. I hope it's warmer with you. It's absolutely gorgeous sunshine outside. I'm not a sunshine person though, so I'm tucked up inside. Although I did spend yesterday afternoon in the garden chatting to my mum, socially distanced obviously. She wanted some washing done because I've got a bigger drum on my washing machine. So she sat and had a cup of coffee, or well, she had tea, I had coffee, whilst the washing did, so that was nice. Anyway, I think I've probably waffled on enough for the minute, so I'm just going to have a swig of coffee and I'll put you on the overhead and you can see what we're going to start off with today. Right, so this is the card we're going to look to make. With the fairy cards, quite a lot of the time when you do them in silhouette, you do them in black, so the cards end up quite dark. And I wanted to do something a little bit different to make the card kind of quite nice and light. I have, I'm afraid, spanned a few different of the collections to do this card, but hopefully you'll bear with me. It will probably work with whatever collections you've got. The butterflies that you've got here, you know, if you've got small butterflies or bees, or you know, just other little characters, then that may well work with that. The sentiment doesn't have to be from the fairy collection. You could use whatever you think would work, and whichever stamps. The technique that I'll show you, once you've got the technique, that's all you need really. All right, so let's get started. Now, so the first thing we want to do is blank piece of card, and I don't want to cut it out until we've done all of our stamping, because if you ink after it's cut out, you'll get more ink around the edges, and I don't want the more ink around the edges on this. So if we do the stamping, do the inking, and then cut out, it's a better way of doing it. All right, so right, I want my stamping platform. Let's pop that card out of the way for the minute. I'm not going to use exactly the same stamps as I used on that one. So I've got one of they're very difficult to see because they're clear. There we go. So this is the one on the toadstool. So I'm going to use this one instead as my main focal point, and then a couple of little butterfly stamps. Now the butterfly stamps I'm going to use are from a really, really old collection of Sarah's, the Butterfly Lullaby. Some of you may well still have that from years and years ago. I liked there's some very tiny little butterflies on this collection. I don't know whether the camera can pick them up. These little tiny ones, and they're like silhouette because they're not. It doesn't show the butterfly wings in full. So I thought I'd use those to give us our detail. All right, now I'm not going to use a clear embossing powder. I'm actually going to use white because I want to give it a really, really crisp finish. So we want our Versamark ink, and I need, as you can see, this is my piece of paper that I use for collecting embossing powder and tipping it back into the pot. It's also the same bit of paper that I use for checking out whether stamps are working, so it's got loads of bits of stamps on it, but it works, so that's fine. Don't need any fancy little pots to collect our embossing powder in. Bit of paper creased in the middle is absolutely fine. So what's everybody been up to this week? Anybody done anything interesting? Have you been out anywhere since they've eased the lockdown and we can actually leave our homes? Now, I've forgotten to anti-static my cardstock, so let's just do that. Thanks, Susan, for this. I love the smell on it. It smells like talcum powder. It's probably not talcum powder, but it smells like it and it's lovely. So, right, so lots of like tapping. We need to get lots and lots of nice sticky ink on there so that we can get this done really well. Okay, and you don't want to stamp too close to the bottom or too close to the edge because we are going to cut this out and it's going to be in an oval, so we need to make sure of that. And I've forgotten to put my stamp pad underneath. hopefully this will come out all right, even without it. Fingers crossed. A bit late now. If it doesn't, I can always turn it over and do it again. Right, now you won't be able to see where the Versamark is, but I'll just throw a whole load of the embossing powder over, and hopefully you can just about see. There you go. She's fine. She's stamped really well, actually. Okay, so just pop the spare back into the pot. Try not to waste any. I seem to waste more when I'm using glitter. I get glitter everywhere. Spend my life covered in glitter. It's great. Right, I'm going to be noisy for a minute. I'm sorry if you don't hear me very well. I like to heat my heat gun up before I put it to the card, because that way you don't get quite so much, it doesn't warp the card quite so much. I also like to do it from underneath because it gives a smoother finish on the embossing powder. Okay, there we go. Right, now I'm holding it down to the glass mat so that it cools it down, because what you don't want to do is go touching the embossing powder before it's cooled down, because otherwise you end up with fingerprints in it, which is not good. Caroline says she's still in lockdown in Northern Ireland. To be honest, I think they're doing things too quickly. I have to say, no rush to return to work. I'm enjoying my crafting. Yeah, I'm on 4 weeks furlough at the moment. I'll be going back to work beginning of June for 4 weeks, and after that I've no idea. We'll just have to see how it goes. Let's clean this stamp off. And I've dropped a lid on the floor. I'm bound to wheel over it in a minute, so if you hear a crunch, that will probably be that lid. Right, let's grab our little fairy stamps, butterfly stamps, sorry. All right, and then we can do those. And I will get my stamping mat. This isn't actually really a stamping mat, it's just a... I can show you a really nice technique actually with foam, funky foam. I don't know whether anybody's actually tried this before. Let's take a swirl. Yes, this is completely going off-piste and nothing to do with the card that I'm making, but you're going to love this. It's great fun. All right, so you can take a stamp. Now, if we heat up the funky foam, I'll just do it in a corner. All right, and then press our stamp into it. And this works really well with background stamps. Okay, and just hold it in there until it's cooled down. If you can hear it, that's my cat wanting to come in. I shut the door to the dining room so that she can't come in. And there, can you see? It's holding the image in that, so you can use that on your cards. It's great fun to do. Yeah, that's another really cool thing. And if you don't like it, heat it up again and it will get rid of it. All right, so yeah, that's just a little cool aside. I didn't know whether anybody knew that or whether it was something I'd just discovered in the background. I'm sure there's other people who know it. Right, let's get one of these little butterflies and start doing some little butterfly stamps. Hi, Nicole. Lovely to see you again. Hope you're keeping okay. Coming up with lovely new collections for us. Pretty please. Right, because it's such a small stamp, I'm just going to tap it into the ink. and just do a couple of little butterflies. I mean, if one of them gets cut off, it's probably not too much of a problem. All right, and let's do a different butterfly and do a couple more. The only problem with this is because it's clear ink on white, you don't know whether you've stamped it properly until it's until you put the powder over it. But hey ho. You can always stick another butterfly over it later if necessary. That's what they say, isn't it? If it all goes wrong, just stick a butterfly on it. Ooh, lots of gorgeousness on the way. Now that's teasing, Nicole. Seriously. But then, if it's Crafter's Companion, it's all gorgeous, so I should know that by now, shouldn't I? Really? Right. So we just need to heat those butterflies up and emboss those as well, and then we can get on with some inky fun. Let's pop that out of the way. Top tip for you when you're heating from underneath, try and make sure you don't get your heat gun too close to your paper. I have actually burnt cardstock before now doing that, so yeah, you just need to be a little bit careful of what you're doing. Right, okay, so we have our image, which you can just about see with our little butterflies flying around it. We're just going to create a nice inky background. Now, the inky background that I did has got effectively 4 colours. So you've got a yellow, a green, a blue, and just a little bit of a lilac down at the bottom. But it's, so that's 4 colours, but I only use 3 ink pads because these ink pads blend so beautifully. And it's the Harmony Water Reactive. I keep harping on about them. They really are my absolute faves. I wouldn't be without them in any way, shape or form. So what we're going to use today, let me pop that one away because otherwise I'll lose it. All right, so this is Straw Bale, which is the lightest of the yellows. All right, so we'll start at the top with Straw Bale. Okay, and we want to go really lightly to start off with. We want to build up the colour. All right, because we want it to be kind of misty around the edges. And get more intense as we go down. And you want to take the yellow further down than you actually want it, because what we're going to do is the yellow is going to become green. All right, because obviously we all remember from when we were at school, yellow and blue make green. All right, so we take the yellow down just beyond halfway, I would have said, or as far as you like. You don't have to just work with like the yellow and the blue. You could do red, orange and yellow coming down. Anna Marie says, I love the Crafter's Companion ink pads. I have the 3 complete sets plus the Midas and the Finesse. Yeah, me too. The other thing I would say is as you go down also is use a bit of tissue so that you're not putting your hand straight onto the card, because you will leave fingerprints in the ink. All right, so once we've got about where we want our green to start, we can swap round. And I always keep my little foam pads underneath. Right, so we go to, this one's Oasis, which is the lightest of the turquoisey blues. I quite like these colours. All right, and again, just start off nice and light. And as you go over the yellow, you can see that starts to turn the most beautiful green. All right, and as you come down, obviously you're going to get the blue where it's not covering up the yellow. All right, and then, like I said, just keep building up the colour. Don't press too hard. If you get tempted to press hard, what will happen is you'll end up with a big blob, and it becomes more difficult to keep it nice and light. And that's what we want. We want to keep this one nice and light. I mean, if you want a dark colour, fine, you know, press a bit harder, but what I'm looking for here is a nice light colour. Okay, and once you're happy with the effect that you've got, oh, Jan's late because she was making roast beef and Yorkshire puddings for this evening. I've got the rest of the roast beef from last week, which we're going to have tonight, but what I'll do is I'll slice it up and put it in gravy and heat it up in the oven so it goes really, really soft and gorgeous. So that's what we're having, and Yorkshire puddings, obviously. Can't have roast beef without Yorkshire puddings. And this last one is pale fig, all right, which is the lightest of the purples. Okay, and we're just going to blend that just around the bottom, so we'll just get a little bit of that, and we'll blend that into the blue as well, so it'll change the blue at the bottom. All right, and I think that's as much as I want, and you can see those colours blend into each other beautifully. All right, and you can just about see those butterflies at the top. They're just fading away nicely. All right, so now we can cut this one out. Right, make sure that I wipe up, because you will, although you can't see it particularly, you probably will have a bit of ink left behind, so let's get rid of that. Right, let me just go and get my oval, and this is one of the stitched ovals from Crafter's Companion. I love these nesting ones. And then we just want to sort of like have a look, see where we want it. Actually, that's not going to fit through my die cutting machine, so I'm just going to trim this cardstock down. The other day I placed an order with Crafter's Companion, and as I said to you, the all-purpose glue has been out of stock, and when I placed the order, the all-purpose glue was still out of stock. So I placed the order anyway, because there was loads of other stuff that I wanted. Always is. Oh, hi Pam. So I placed the order, and then my hubby said to me, he said, isn't it funny how after you've ordered something, the stuff that you really wanted comes back in stock? And when he said it, I remembered the order that I placed with Crafter's Companion, and I thought, I'll just go on and have a look. And it really is Murphy's Law, isn't it? I went online, and sure enough, the Collall all-purpose glue is now back in stock. So don't all rush at once. I've already bought some. Yes! So I bought the 200, they've got the 250ml bottles in. So I've kept one of my 100ml bottles that was empty. And when my 250ml bottles arrive, I will be able to decant some. But I ordered 4 bottles, so I've got to find room to put them now. and it's rainy in Michigan. Oh dear. It's also morning in Michigan, so good morning. It's afternoon over here, about 5 to 3. There we go. Looking at the time on my iPad. So now we have our beautiful fairy and butterflies all delicately coloured in, ready to go on our card. Okay, so what I thought I'd do, I've already, because I wanted to try and make sure, I ordered the 500 Kiddies Collal All Purpose. I hope it's okay. I'm sure it will be, Jan. I got the 250ml ones because they were the first ones I saw, and I kind of like panicked and grabbed them because I didn't want them to go out of stock before I'd had mine. So so that's to go on the card. All right, I'll glue that down so that it has time to dry whilst we're doing other bits. All right, using my tacky glue. I would normally use tacky glue on this anyway, because when you're using coated or glitter cardstock, the all-purpose, because it's solvent, can take some of the coating off, and you really don't want that, because glitter's really pretty. We don't want to go ruining glitter, do we? All right, so I'm just pressing that down so that it sticks well. Not sure what the difference is, other than it wasn't available when I ordered. Yeah, I did look at the kiddies one. I wasn't sure what the difference was, so I thought I'd stick with what I knew. But let me know how you get on with it when it arrives, because that'd be really cool to know for next time. Right, let's just pop this die away. I did do a bit of tidying up and get rid of a whole load of, well, I haven't got rid of them yet. They're sat in a box waiting for me to decide what to do with them. But I went through some of my boxes and consolidated a few of my dies, because I kept looking at it and thinking, I haven't used that in years. Hi Max, I am very safe and well. Yes, thank you very much. I'm keeping out of everybody's way. I get my shopping online. I don't go out very often at all. So, although I do have to go out tomorrow morning, because my my scooter that I use to zip about everywhere has developed a fault. It's decided it sounds like a Spitfire, so I think the exhaust needs looking at. And it cut out the other day when I got home from a trip out, one of my rare trips, because I had to nip out to the butcher's to get some chicken pieces. And as I got home, it just cut out and wouldn't restart. And I thought the garage was closed, but hubby went past there the other day and he saw that they were open. So I sent them a message, and I've got it booked in to get them to have a look at it. So, right, now if we look at the card that I've done, you probably can't see it. If I bring it up close, can you see the speckles in the background? I kind of quite like that as a technique, because it just gives you a bit more interest on your card. So I wanted to show you how I do the speckles on the background of my card. I've probably shown you this before, but it's one of my favourite techniques, so we'll do it again. And you use the colours that you've already used. So we're going to take our Oasis and put a bit of it on our glass mat. All right, and then we want a paintbrush, nice big paintbrush, and some water. All right, and just lots and lots of water into that ink. It's one of my favourite techniques, this. Quite messy, and you'll be finding ink splatters everywhere for ages, so don't have anything too precious around your work area. Make sure everything that you want out of the way is out of the way, including your topper. I just got a little bit of ink on there, but that was fine because it was on the bit that was embossed. All right, so let's wipe that up. Wipe up around. Didn't know you had a scooter. We've got one that we take away with us in the motorhome. Hubby uses it while we're home. Being in total lockdown, it hasn't been out for a while. You might want to start it up and make sure that it does actually start. Because otherwise, whoops, sorry, just started up my heat gun. Yes, I've got a nice little 50cc scooter. Gets me to and from work. It's absolutely brilliant and love it to bits. I've been riding a scooter for about 10 years now, 10, 11 years. So, and heat your card from both sides when you're doing this, because it helps to keep it from warping one way or the other too much. Must feel weird not being out in your motorhome, Mags. You go in that quite a lot, don't you? Right, so that's the blue. Now we're going to do the same with the yellow. We could do the purple as well, but I'm just going to stick with the blue and the yellow. All right, lots of water into that. And we're just going to okay, until you're happy with it. Clean off your brush. And then wipe the area down. Would love a scooter, but they all look too big for me. So hilly around here, I can't make it back up the 250 steps these days. Blimey, you do need a scooter. No, I mean, like I said, mine's only a 50cc. It doesn't go above like 30 miles an hour. It's quite tiny, so but it still manages to lug my weight around, which is quite an awesome feat, to be fair. No wonder it's given out, especially with the lockdown munchies. You'd be amazed what you can order off Amazon, wouldn't it? Okay, so now we have a nice pattern background, really subtle, and all of the colours match what we're working on. All right, so that's our background. Okay, so we want a sentiment on here, and I sort of like just played around and kind of like thought, right, where do I want my sentiment? And I kind of like thought, because I wanted to do something up here, that I would put my sentiment down at the bottom. So let's go and grab a sentiment. Excuse me a second, because it's on the floor. All right, so I'm going to use "May all your wishes come true." I like that sentiment, it's really nice. All right, now last time on this card, I did it in, I embossed it, so I used the Harmony Inks. I think this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the quick dry and pick a different colour. I'm going to use a purple this time, because when we do our butterflies, the ones at the bottom of the rainbow are purple, so I'll have it purple, I think, just to match that in. All right, so bear with me, I'll just get my quick dry inks out, my box of all of them, and find my, I'm going to go for the Damson Wine, which is the darkest purple, which is unusual for me because I usually go for the other one. Pam, you don't know what Yorkshire puddings are. That's absolutely fine. You don't need to be embarrassed. Coming from America, you probably wouldn't. But then you have, what do you call it? Gravy and biscuits. Biscuits and gravy, which to us in Britain is a really odd concept. A friend of mine was married to an American. That'll be the same one whose mum has recently passed away. She's been getting rid of all of the people out of her life that you wouldn't want there. So yeah, her mum's gone and the husband has gone as well. Well done, Laura. And he always used to talk about biscuits and gravy. Really odd. Right, so before I stamp this directly onto there, I'm going to test it out on my bit of paper again, because I like to test my stamps out before I use them, just in case there's any area that doesn't stamp particularly well. I can make sure I put extra pressure on that. It also primes the stamp a bit with some ink so that you get a better finish when you come to do it. All right, so that's actually not too bad. See that there? All right, so we're ready to ink it back up and pop it in the corner of our card. I might not get the second card made, but I have done quite a lot of prep for it, so I can always show you a bit and then finish it off and pop the finished card online. All right, so I'm just going to stamp this down here. Not entirely sure it's straight, but what the heck. What would life be without a bit of wonk in it, eh? And there we have it. Nice and purple and wonky. Never mind. Right, I'll just give this a clean off. Okay. Put that away. Yes, definitely not straight. All right, now this I'm going to raise up on some foam pads so that it gives you a bit of structure to the card and depth. The butterflies that we're going to put on in a minute will also add some shape to the card because the wings will be lifted. This is the foam shaker tape from Crafter's Companion. I love using this because it means you don't go through foam squares quite so quickly. Plus, of course, with these being nice and long, you don't have so much to rip off the back. You know, you can do it in one nice hit. Okay. So there we are. Right, now for our butterflies. Fly up here. Now, the die I want to use is from the Flutterby collection. And it's the arrangement of butterflies. There's actually 2 dies in this collection, and it's the one that cuts out solid butterflies that we want. This one here. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a rainbow. All right, and then I can die cut down through the rainbow for our butterflies. Now, so a rainbow is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. All right, we don't need to use that many colours. We don't need to use 7 colours to get a rainbow because these inks are lovely. So we're going back to our water reactives, and I want to use Chinese red, my favourite parakeet, always using parakeet. I'm going to use lemon tonic and crushed velvet. All right, so we're actually going to use 4 colours to create 7. All right, Jan's saying she has problems with foam squares. They're a pain in the butt, takes me ages to get the backs off. The tip I've found, I tell you what, if I just cut off a little bit whoops, of foam and stick it to something, she says. Right, so if I stick that bit of foam there, so we've got the tape on the top. Now, what I tend to do, see if I can get this on camera. Is it going to focus on that? Please focus on that. There we go. Right, what I tend to do is just pinch underneath and squeeze it. And what that does is it starts to, so you're pinching the foam and it releases the top. It just loosens it off. And there you go. Your top of your foam tape comes off. All right, so give that a try. That's what I use all the time, and that's how I managed to get my backings off my foam. All right, so anyway, back to our rainbow. So we need it to start up about here with our red. So we're going to start with our red. All right, and there we go. Put that next to it. So we want to start with our red, and as we did with the other one, you need to bring it down a bit further than you want it, because it's not going to be red all the way, because we're going to put the yellow over the top. All right, and don't worry about it being slightly mottled. We're actually going to cut bits out so you won't notice any mottling, but you'll all be experts at colouring with Harmony Water Reactives now, so you're not going to get any mottling, are you? All right, so now we have our yellow, and we want to take the yellow colour down further, because obviously the yellow isn't going to be yellow all the way down either. What have I done with that bit? I'm forever losing things. Marbles mainly. There we go. I found my tissue. All right, so the yellow isn't going to be yellow all the way down because it's going to go into the blue. And it's also not going to be yellow all the way up because we're going to take it into the red and make the bottom of the red orange. All right, so you can see that there. Tell you what, maybe I should bring you in a bit. Does that help a bit? It's a little bit better, isn't it? All right, so that's our yellow. And then we'll go in with our blue, our parakeet. And this really does create the most gorgeous green colour. I love it. All right, so you take it into the yellow and get your beautiful green. And then we'll take it down, because what we're going to do is we're going to blend the crushed velvet in at the bottom. I keep them attached. It's just little tiny pieces of the hook side of Velcro. You know, you can get the big long strips of hook and loop. Well, you just take the hook side, and if you get the one that's got a sticky back to it, you can just stick it underneath and it holds it in place. All right, so I just have one little dauber for each colour so that you're never going to get contamination. They do die eventually, but you know, they're not cheap and they're not expensive to replace. So right, and lastly the crushed velvet, which we take into the blue to give us our indigo. And there you are, you have a rainbow. And with our NHS carers and everything, being able to create that rainbow is probably quite a good thing at the moment for all the cards and bits and bobs that we're all doing for the NHS, the carers. Sorry if I'm wobbling my camera, I'm trying not to. It's got quite a good base on it, but obviously when they've been a bit violent. Right, so now all we need to do is cut this out. Just tape it down so that it doesn't move about too much. That worked, didn't it? Obviously my low tack tape has got a bit too low tack. It will stick down as it goes through the machine, don't worry. not getting too inky, not too bad. Queen of Inky Fingers is Susan. She's going to be doing a Facebook Live over on her page tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And I'm definitely going to be watching that one because she's going to be showing us how to do a particular fold, and it looks gorgeous. It's one I want to learn how to do. It's one of those ones where you look at it and you think, I have no idea how that's done. She assures me it is really simple. It would need to be for me. So yeah, if you've got the time tomorrow afternoon, 2 o'clock, over on Susan Mawson's page, please go over and have a look at it. She's been having all sorts of tech issues as well, so bear with. She's trying to sort those out. So hopefully it'll be a good demo tomorrow afternoon. Love the sounds of the Gemini. It's funny, Susan and I were talking about the sounds of the Gemini, and apparently everybody sounds different. And it's true. The ones that you hear on the telly aren't the same as your own, are they? All right, so now you can see all these beautiful colours of butterfly. And you just pick out which ones you want to use. So I'm going to pick out some of the bigger butterflies. They're so beautiful. The smaller ones, keep them because I'm sure you'll find other cards that you can use them on. All right. That gives us a whole load of butterflies, which what I tend to do is just arrange them on your card so that you can go, yeah, I like that one there, or that's one too many, or... All right, but it's a really quick and easy way. That die, Nicole, is the arrangement of butterflies from the Flutterby collection. There you go, look at that. All right, and it's that strip there that I've used to do all these butterflies, and it just cuts out so many at once. It's fabulous. You know, you'd be there forever trying to cut them out with lots of little ones, or even punches if you've got them. But you could make a lovely wreath with butterflies, couldn't you? Or even a rainbow and have them all nicely arranged. I might have to have a go at that, actually. All right, so, and then what I'll do is I'll just put a little bend in my butterflies so that they can fly. Butterflies have to be able to fly. You should never pick a butterfly up by its wings. I found that out the hard way. They can't fly after that. They lose something out of the wings, and it's such a shame. Got these dies too, time to get them out again. Absolutely. It is good when you watch other people's lives, though, that you can go, oh, I've got that one, or oh, I've got something similar that I could use, and it sends you off on a completely different journey, which I think is lovely. So that's one of the reasons I do these lives. That, and I've got fed up with talking to myself, so I thought I'd talk to you lot instead. Right, let's stick that in there. Okay, so now all we do is just put a little bit of glue right down that crease in the middle of the butterfly. You see? She says, trying to get it in focus. Ooh, oh, that went off, didn't it? Nope. God. You wouldn't think my dad was a camera engineer, would you? Completely useless, aren't I? There we go. See? A little bit double glue right in the middle. I did get to play with the cameras up at Thames Television years ago when I was a kid. It was great. Oh, I got so much I lose control. Yeah. I've got so much. Problem is when you've got too much is you just don't know where to start. And you end up You buy all the new stuff and you'll use the new stuff and forget all of the lovely stuff that you had. Which is such a shame. Now, I have been on for 50 minutes now, so I'm not going to get to my second card. I will save that for another day. Hey ho. Because it's all prepped and ready to go, so I might just do that one next Sunday. Or I might make it and come up with something else. Don't know yet. Not decided. Sometimes, yeah. It's so hard though not to get caught up in the, oh my God, I must have that. I mean, like I said, I've placed 2 orders with Crafter's Companion this week because I had to order the glues. But my first order included all of those lovely sentiment dies. You know, it's got the big script die with the word on it, and then you get some stamps with the other ones. I can't even remember what they're called. I'll show you them next week when they arrive. Hopefully they'll arrive next week. I know the post is a bit odd at the moment, but hey ho, we just have to live with it, don't we, really? They're doing their best, like everybody else at the moment. Just need a bit of patience. Right, let's put you back there. There you go. Hello. Right, so that's the card for today. Excuse me, I've been talking so much. Was a bit thirsty there. So yes, ta-da! So very similar to the first card that I showed you at the start. But then I wanted something very similar, so now I've got 2 more cards for my stash. I'm going to have so many cards for my stash at the end of all of this that I really don't know what I'm going to do with them. So if anybody's got any thoughts or knows of a charity that might be interested in having them, RH, I'm free, carry on, lol. Yeah, I don't want to eat into everybody else's time, because there's I know Leander's live at 4, I think it is. And I don't know who else might be doing live, so I try to keep them down to about an hour, apart from last week when I when I ran over a bit, but hey ho. Anyway, so this week it's showing that I've been on for 53 minutes, with the little logo up at the start that was there for half a minute. I suppose that's probably 50 minutes I've been on, yeah. So anyway, it's been lovely chatting to you all. Thank you very much for tuning in again. I'll be back again next Sunday. I'm here every Sunday, whether you like it or not, whether you watch or not. I'll just waffle to myself again. So have fun, stay safe, enjoy your week. Thanks very much, everybody. Bye.